Fiancée completely cut me out of our own wedding planning and said it was her big day, not mine, and when I finally confronted her about it, she broke up with me and posted on social media that I betrayed her. Hi guys. Long time lurker here. I have a question I'd like to ask. A little background. I, 27M, met my fiancée Emily, 26F, in college about 5 years ago, and we started dating several months later. As corny as it sounds, things just clicked. Things got pretty serious, and I ended up proposing to her at Christmas and she said yes. Yay. But since then a couple of issues have popped up, and I'd like to get some advice on them. The problem is that I, being somewhat sappy and effeminate, have dreamed about getting married before, and I've wanted for a long time to have a perfect wedding. So I started discussing wedding plans with Emily soon after we got engaged, talking about what we wanted our wedding to be like. Of course, I knew then as well as now that there would have to be some compromise, some give and take and all that, with a little of what I want and a little of what she wants. At first, it seemed like she was open to that, but now I'm not sure. You see, Emily has gotten really pushy about the wedding plans. Since that first conversation she had, she's been ignoring most of my suggestions except for really small ones like what outfit I can wear or what songs we can play at the reception. Meanwhile, she's really excited about her wedding and is constantly coming up with ideas of her own. What's more, she has been enlisting a bunch of her girlfriends, female relatives, etc. to help her plan the wedding out, with relatively little input from me. I feel really left out from the whole planning process, and I've mentioned that to her before, to which she would always say something like, "Oh, it's just brainstorming." Still, that kind of bothers me. It all came to a head yesterday. When I got home from work, we lived together, Emily came up to me, barely able to contain her excitement, and announced that she and her friends had finally found the perfect venue for our wedding. She showed me some pictures on her phone and it really wasn't to my tastes, and I mentioned that. She brushed that off too, saying that I just didn't understand weddings or something like that because I'm a man. That really hurt me because it's like she just didn't care about my opinion, and I told her. She told me it was just a joke and I shouldn't take it so seriously, probably true because she was laughing when she said it, but whatever. That was when I decided to tell her just how left out I felt. I told her I wanted to plan the wedding too, and I thought I had made that clear. She basically said that, okay, I could help, but this was still her big day, so she got to make all the major decisions. That really pissed me off for some reason. I told her that it was my big day too. She just said that the wedding is all about the bride and that this was her one day to be a princess. WTF? I told her that she was making me feel like I didn't matter at all, and she laughed and said that of course I mattered, why else would she agree to marry me? And besides, I got to help her plan out her big day so I should be happy. She said this like it wasn't a big deal. Like I said before, I'm kinda unmanly. I was actually starting to cry at this point, and her nonchalant attitude was just making things worse. I excused myself from the room and just got into bed and cried. I was in a funk all night and even this morning, and it's only now that I can clear my head and type this out. So help me out, guys, is Emily being unreasonable or not? Is she right that I should stay out of this? How can I get her to let me have some control here? Should we postpone getting married? Thanks guys. Comments where Op has replied. Comment 1. I'd ask point blank, do you want a wedding, or a marriage? Look, I went through this whole wedding planning song and dance not a year ago. And I valued the hell out of my now husband's interest and help. There were a great many things he didn't care about, but when he did care, I listened, and if he was uncomfortable with something I wanted, we found some way to make us both happy. Let me reiterate, we did. Together. The wedding and the planning and the relationship leading up to it isn't just something that's done and you can forget about, it's practice for what life will be like after marriage. So, she needs to cut all this crap about it being just a princess day for her and you not understanding because you're a man. She can still be a princess even when the day is about both of you. You need to sit down and really talk with her about it, and if she digs in or just insists that you don't get it because you're a man, which is absolute bull, thanks very much, you need couples counseling at the least. Op, thanks. It's nice to know that other people see marriage as a team game. Congratulations with yours BTW. Comment 2, this is our wedding. It's not an excuse for you to play princess for a day, it's a celebration of the two of us joining our lives, which means it needs to reflect both of us. And it really bothers me that you're falling back on stereotypes about how guys aren't supposed to care about this kind of thing, instead of listening to me and treating me like an equal partner. If you really don't understand why this is a problem, then we're going to need to put any plans on hold until we've worked this through in premarital counseling, because this is not the precedent I want to set for how our marriage is going to work. Even if she apologizes, you should probably consider premarital counseling anyway, just because it's a good idea to ferret out any other hidden issues and learn how to handle conflict more effectively. But if she thinks your participation is only incidental in making sure this wedding happens, she's in for a rude awakening. Op, mind if I use some of that when I talk to her? That really sums it up nicely. Premarital counseling is a good idea, although our relationship is pretty well off except for this one thing. Comment 3, are you in a relationship where your input is actually valued or just the groom doll on the cake so she can fill out some kind of life milestone checklist? Op, God, that feels too true. Now that I think about it, she was the one who kinda pushed me into getting married. I hope she isn't just using me to fulfill her womanly life goals. Frown. Comment 4, well, is this something you actually want or not? You have to be honest with yourself and her, especially if you're planning to be with this person for the rest of your days. Op, well, yes. It's just that I got nervous about it, and it wasn't until she started talking about how much she wanted to get married that I finally got my act together and proposed. Update, hi guys, it's me again. This is actually my second update. I wrote a post last night, but that one got removed by the mods, I think because I was asking in the post for further advice. Anyway, as I was writing it out, I came to the realization that I didn't need advice after all, that I had a strong gut feeling that something was wrong and I needed to get closure with Emily. So, I brought it up with her shortly after writing my post last night. Things went horrible and now I feel like shit. I'll start by summing up that post that got deleted. I ended up having a talk with Emily on Sunday evening, basically running through the points I laid out in my original post and that some people who commented on it had suggested. BTW, thanks guys. She apologized and agreed to premarital counseling but wasn't too happy about it, and she also agreed to have me coplan the wedding with her. But when I mentioned postponing the wedding, she got really upset and said that she wanted to get married now. Fortunately, we never had a final date for our wedding ceremony to begin with, so I was able to calm her down by reassuring her that we would be getting married soon. We spent hours yesterday trying to reach a very general master plan for the wedding based on both our ideas. But I just could not shake this feeling that she was just agreeing to what I said so that I would be placated and she could go on with the wedding. And then control every aspect of our lives for the entirety of our marriage. I also doubted the sincerity of her apology and was very worried by the fact that she had insisted on getting married right now, and not in an I can't get enough of you way. It was definitely more like a little kid throwing a tantrum over a toy they want. Basically, my post that got removed was asking if my concerns were legitimate and what I should do about them. So, like I said before, I realized by the time I had finished writing that post last night that I had already answered my own questions. I did not feel like she was being sincere, and I definitely did feel like she was just trying to appease me so that she could get what she wanted, as opposed to her genuinely wanting my input on the whole process. So around midnight last night, I approached her with these feelings. I basically told her all of what I just said above, and demanded to know if she really wanted to marry me, or just to get married. She fucking lost it. She accused me of not loving her, saying I was just trying to guilt her into giving me everything I wanted all the time. At one point she even accused me of cheating on her. She fell back into old stereotypes. She was saying that men are just selfish pigs who only put up with women for sex and never commit to giving them what they want and deserve. I was too stunned to say anything. I might have been crying, I don't even know. It was just too much to handle. She eventually threatened to break up with me if I didn't apologize for doubting her, and at that point, I just let her break up with me. The Emily I'd fallen in love with had just fucking evaporated right before my eyes. She kicked me out of the apartment after that. I had to find a hotel room, and I ended up calling in sick at work and just laying in the hotel bed all day, just sobbing. Fuck, this is miserable. I checked Facebook and Twitter and all that a while back, and Emily and her friends have been posting a ton of shit about how I betrayed and abandoned her and all that. Some of them have even sent messages to me directly telling me what an asshole I am. At the very least, Emily's parents, who I'm actually pretty close with, commented on those posts defending me, and they even called me earlier this afternoon to apologize for their daughter's actions. That's the only thing that's really gotten me out of this funk. The woman I was going to marry left me, and it's all my fault. Sorry guys, I fucked up on this one big time. Comment where Op has replied, comment, and it's all my fault. That is the only place you went wrong in this whole thing. You dodged an absolutely major bullet, and I am so glad for you. I know it sucks really hard right now, but just think how much more miserable it would be to be railroaded and dismissed the rest of your life. Emily finally showed you who she really is. Stay no contact and move right the fuck on. Fuyu, if I had been in her position and my fiancé let me know he was worried and having these doubts based on my past behavior, I'd be heartbroken he felt that way and discuss it and do whatever I could to allay those fears. But I'd never be in her situation because I want a partner, not a wedding. Best of luck, and don't forget she was absolutely totally in the wrong. Heal and move on. Op, sigh, I wish Emily could have been more like you. Thanks.